tight, feeling like where the rains. Whole lot of globe trotting, man, they don't know nada. Bro, gotta show something to me and go harder. So proper, nah, not that, we sure gotta give it all raw, man. Feel like don't I got us. All that I got will never stop. I give it all. Straight to the top, will never flow. I give it all. Hip on the front, I never blow. I give it all. Whoa, what you say, my man? Give it all, whoa. Hey, give it all, give it all, whoa. Yeah, stand tall, give it all. All that I have, I let it be. Cause nobody's better than me. What do you see? Give it all. What do you think when people look at me? 100 degrees tougher than Booker T. Couldn't agree more, but could it be? I think higher than them all. Truthfully, my pen fire and then some. A body addendum. Take this whole thing for ransom. Give it all I got for attention. Not a mention of life well lived, for instance. Give it all.
Hello and welcome to day 2 of the Spotlight Secrets in London. I'm Maria and here joined by Frank Karsten. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, everyone.
So, this weekend is not only eventful here in Europe, but also in Japan because of the regional championship happening over there for Japan and Korea. So it is almost like Back to the Future because we already know the winner, right, Frank?
Yeah, due to the time zone difference,
Exactly.
they basically finished their event like an hour ago.
Right.
And
We're just getting started.
yeah, pretty much. But it's going to be nice to take a quick look at what actually happened over there because they also played standard this weekend. Had some surprising decks come to the top, and that's perhaps also going to be, a prediction of what we might see here today.
Yes.
Or maybe we'll see something completely different.
Yes, I know that you prepared some graphics for us. Let's take a look.
So the top 8 in Japan featured some strong competition. For example, there was Yoshihiko Ikawa, like 3-time top 8 Proto Top 8 competitor. There was Manoa, who actually played the Selesnya Uroboroid deck, was one of the 2 players at the Pro Tour this past weekend introducing that deck along with Matt Nass. They really crushed it, and he just brought it again to his regional championship and made another top 8. So the competition there was quite strong. 16 Pro Tour slots to the next Pro Tour were awarded there. And there they will be joined by, of course, 8 players from the event here this weekend. But in the end, it was a top 4 and then a top 2 dominated by control decks over there in Japan.
It's very surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting a finals between Jeskai control and 4-color control.
Exactly.
But yeah, both of those decks were using the tablet of Discovery to ramp into a fast Jeskai Revelation. And yeah, over there in Japan, it just worked like a charm. Now, Prowess and Landfall in Japan were the most played decks, same as here in London. But none of those decks actually made it into the top 8. It was just completely different archetypes over there. So that was a bit of a surprise that the 2 most played decks there just failed to convert into the top 8. And instead, the control experts, who perhaps now understanding and expecting the right metagame, fine-tuned all their interactive slots and ultimately crushed it over there.
Yeah, makes sense. Very curious to see what happens next, right?
Yeah.
Next week, because as you've said earlier, standard basically shifts week to week. So people try to meta game and all that stuff. So yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I like about the current standard format. Sure, there are some pillars like Landfall, like Prowess, but their tides are shifting every week. The right builds and card choices are changing every time, and there are always breakout decks making their mark.
Exactly. All right, so what about today? Let's talk about prizes and structure. So in the main event, players are going to play 6 rounds Swiss, and then top 8 top 8 qualifies to the Pro Tour. However,
Big prize for many.
yes, we have monetary prizes for those who make top 64, and the total prize pool is $50,000. So a hefty amount of money. And of course, the winner gets this amazing trophy, Black Lotus style. Would be a nice addition to any collection, wouldn't it?
Oh, for sure. It also features like the Secret of Strixhaven set symbol, and yeah, I really love how this Black Lotus Teams trophy looks. It is stunning, and it comes also with a $10,000 first place prize. So there's definitely something on the line here.
Exactly.
But as you said, the Pro Tour invitation for many is one of the main draws of coming to these Spotlight series, because 8 players today will punch their tickets to Pro Tour Magic the Gathering Marvel Superheroes, which will be held at MagicCon Amsterdam in
yes.
a few months from now.
Right. Let's take a look at standings from day 1.
So at the end of day 1, Stanley Franks was on top of the standings, playing very surprisingly Mardu Discard as the only 9-0 player overnight remaining. Which was a deck that truly broke out this weekend, I would say.
Yes.
It already had a strong result at the Pro Tour this past weekend. It was only played by like 3 players at like a 61% win rate there. This weekend, only 2 players brought Madu Discard.
And again, very high win rate. Right?
And Stanley went like 9-0. And then there was another player, Cameron McNulty, who went 6-3. So if you add that up, that's like an 83% win rate, completely absurd.
Yes.
But yeah, it seemed like the hardened academic as well as the practiced offense, they were strong additions from Secrets of Strixhaven to this discard-oriented strategy,
Yes.
adding a life gain potential angle that definitely helped in close damage races and gave them an edge against, well, basically both Izzet Prowess and Celestial Landfall, it seems like.
So this is the deck that you wouldn't want to discard easily, pun intended.
No, indeed. I mean, you definitely want to discard your Bloodghast,
But not the
trigger
deck.
your Cool But Rude, and like get all those synergies. But you're right. Don't discard the standard competitiveness of this one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Beyond that, like yesterday, Izzet Prowess and Celestial Landfall were the most prominent decks. Today, Izzet Prowess is still going to be the most played deck. It had a decent, like 54-ish% win rate yesterday. Many of the other most played decks also had, similarly fine win rates. There was not a very clear distinction there. It wasn't like, the control deck suddenly had super high win rates. I'm also not sure if the same was true in Japan. Maybe it was just a couple control masters like showing their expertise with that sort of archetype. But there were also some decks that underperformed. Izzet Spelementals had a pretty poor win rate yesterday here. Azurius Prison also did not do particularly well. But
yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, which means that, for this kind of open events, maybe metagaming is not the right thing to do, right? Because, for example, this Mardu deck broke up a lot of, like yesterday we saw so many different matchups and unexpected decks for me so well. So
yes.
That's the reason. Or what do you think?
Yeah, the other category was enormous at this event. And near the top of the standings, we have so many incredible brews. Not just the Mardu discard deck that was undefeated overnight, but also unexpected choices like Allies at 1 loss.
Exactly.
Or like a novel Izzet Opus deck impressing Alexandra McIsaac, who won the Spotlight Series in Baltimore this past year with like a Colossal Sword deck. Now incorporated that package into like an Izzet Prowess build, also X and 1 again. And all of these were kind of strategies that haven't had their breakout yet, but it would be exciting to see if they manage to ultimately convert their strong start to the tournament into a top 8 finish today.
Absolutely. And we're about to learn today, of course, later. So what did surprise you the most for this day metagame breakdown?
I would say the ultimate loss of the Izzet Spelementals and the Azurius Prison decks, especially those Prison decks. They performed well against Izzet Prowess, but yeah, like High Noon is an amazing card against a deck that wants to play multiple spells per turn.
Exactly.
But apparently, at least here yesterday, it didn't really perform all that well against the rest of the field. Also, I analyzed some of the head-to-head win rates, and between the most played decks that we will also see today, Izzet Prowess, Izzet Lessons, and Celestia Landfall, it was all extremely close to 50-50. So that does mean that, yeah, the matches are tight, they're close, and by now, even though Izzet Prowess did not fare as well against the landfall strategies at the Pro Tour this past weekend, many people have, made small tweaks to their creature bases. For example, cutting some Color Store Stallions and adding Elusive Others, so reinforcing the evasive package, and that got the matchup against landfall far closer to 50-50. So there you also see the evolution of standard and decks every week.
Absolutely. Totally makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So, and today, not only you can watch the main event, if you're here in London, you can also play a bunch of side events. So check out fanfinited.gg to find the exact schedule. Don't forget, we have amazing artists over here. So also you can say hi, get your card signed and more. Also, if you're not a competitive player, there is a whole Commander creator colosseum here at the venue, and you can play a game of Commander with your favorite creator. So a lot of things to do here.
There are indeed so many activities, Maria, even beyond the main event. And it is awesome to see the energy in the hall and all the fun that people are having with the best possible game. As for those side events, indeed, the big draw, I think, is the Limited Championship qualifier. There were 232 players entering that event this morning.
Very exciting one.
Yeah, and at the end, 4 are going to earn qualifications to the 2027 Limited Championship, which is going to be an exciting new event for fans of Draft, with a prize pool that will ultimately mimic a Pro Tour. So that's also an amazing side event that, especially the fans of Limited are very excited to be playing today.
For sure, for sure. Well, thank you very much, Frank. And now, back to the casters.
Hello, everyone! Simon, did you sleep well?
Yes, I did.
You slept very well.
I played
very well.
arena qualifier until late last night, and then I fell asleep like a little lamb.
Like a baby. Hello, everyone. Welcome to round 10. I'm Andrea Mengucci from Italy. Joining me, Nielsen from Denmark. And we're here in London watching some standard today. We have some amazing decks at the top of the standings.
Yes.
Frank showed all these screens about landfall against Izzet Prowess, but what are these decks?
That's not what we see. Yeah.
There was a regional championship in Japan. None of these 2 decks made the top 8. There is a tournament behind our back. None of these 2 decks are in the top table. So I don't know, it's standard.
Yeah, that's like, well, I mean, there's 1 Prowess deck and 1 Landfall deck in the top 10, and then 8 other different decks. One of them technically labeled Prowess, but that's McIsaac playing like Wild Ride and the Callous Sellsword in his Prowess deck. So it's very clearly not the same deck.
Yeah, so we have a fantasy draft ready for you because this is what we did yesterday.
How's it going?
Before, the beginning of the tournament. We selected points. I'm last. No, I'm not last. Second to last. We got, of course, this thing, which is like we select 5 players and we see how they do. And apparently, Simon, you did the best of all of us.
Yeah, I am honestly surprised.
You aren't, because almost all your picks made day 2. I think.
Two. Yeah, so
I don't know,
basically,
Oscar.
Vacic, Kovacic didn't make day 2, but the rest of them did. I covered them at 6 and 3, or I guess Oscar at 6 and 3, and then Strasky and Deltor at 7 and 2, and then Mac-Isaac that I just mentioned at 8 and 1.
Yeah.
That cool prowess deck. So yeah, no, it's been going well for these players.
Very cool, very cool. My first pick also did not make day 2, but I believe I haven't seen Torov. Was Torov in the hold?
I think so.
Oh, you think so? Okay, I just haven't seen him.
Oh.
You know, May French made day 2, but she hadn't had a great start of day 2, but trust that she'll make enough points to at least get the 3rd place, you know, climbing back Arne.
Yeah, Maria right in my heels, also with 3 people in day 2 here.
Yeah, very, very good. So yeah. And again, that is what we do every time here at Fanfinity. We do the fantasy draft, and this is something that is just going to entertain ourselves, entertain the caster, entertain the viewers, because, of course, this is our job for the weekend, to make sure that you don't go anywhere, make sure that you leave the stream open, because we're going to not only watch, talk about Magic, talk about us as well, you know.
Maybe
so,
a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, so actually behind me, there's a very good friend of mine playing, and I am excited to maybe cast him. But before that, we have the table 1 to show you. We have a battle between Desiron Maxime and the ranked 1 player, which is
Stanley Franks playing Mardu Discard. So we've seen both of these players yesterday. It is Sultai Reanimator, who we saw lose yesterday to that like almost double Rel emblem. Crazy, crazy game. That was the only match he lost yesterday.
Yeah.
And so he's 8 and 1 and battling up against the 9-0 player on Mardu Discard, Stanley Franks.
The only undefeated player of the tournament. And here they are from Belgium, from the UK. On the left, you have the Mardu Discard. So, Simon, Mardu Discard. So this deck isn't playing Steam Bands, isn't playing Forest. Is that allowed in the standard format?
Clearly that's totally fine, because Stanley is crushing it. This deck, is built around a lot of cards that reward you for discarding, and then having the Hardened Academic and Iron Shield Elf as free discard outlets that let you dump your hand when you need to. And really nice enabler for this deck, or like a payoff, is Cool But Rude, which lets you loot every turn when you attack, and also when it's leveled up, you deal 2 damage whenever you discard a card. So you can dump your hand of 4 cards, that's 8 damage to the dome, and they may die.
Yes, indeed. And of course, this new card, let's talk about the new card, right?
Practiced Offense here, coming in from Secrets of Strixhaven. So, the Hardened Academic is like one of the reasons to splash white, but the other reason is Practiced Offense, which is a powerful flashback spell, one of those where the flashback cost is less than the mana cost, so it's a totally reasonable card to discard. It says put a counter on every creature you control, and then a creature gets double strike. So double striking that Moonshadow, that is very powerful. It's a lot of damage being able to be produced by this Practiced Offense.
Yeah, of course, and it has Menace, so it's hard to block, just like Inti giving Trample. So the goal is just to deal a lot of damage, and of course, evasive creature are the best targets for the double strike. On the other side, we see a deck that hasn't been around for a while, but I guess it's back now in the hands of Maxime Desiron.
Yes, exactly. And, we see the classic idea of you want to get Bringer of the Last Gift into the graveyard. That's an 8-drop. You normally can't reanimate this thing because it only says if you cast it, it triggers. But Superior Spider-Man, well, he just copies the thing and then it counts as if you've cast him. So that is the combo. Try and use Spider-Man to get the Bringer, and then the Bringer will kill all your opponent's creatures and reanimate all the creatures in your graveyard, and you just have a big board. You can even finish the game without the combat step using those 2 copies of Terror of the Peaks. It's very clear here that Maxime has tuned his deck quite a bit, adding just the right amount of elementals to support that one of Sunderflock that you can go and find with your Formidable Speaker, and then also reanimate with Spider-Man, and doesn't play any copies of Awaken the Honored Dead, instead going for more 1-mana interaction with 4 copies of Requiting Hex, as well as 2 Into the Floodmaw. So a lot of 1-mana interaction in this deck, and that should serve Maxime well in this matchup.
Yes, indeed, and the players are shuffling their deck, drawing their starting hand. Of course, they are 2 decks that kind of mulligan aggressively, right? Because they need the right cards to function, but looks like they're both kept, so we're underway here.
And it looks like 5 cards here for Maxime.
What do you mean?
6 cards.
Seven cards.
It looks like 7 cards here for Maxim.
Yes. On one side, we have an City Sewers kicking things off. That's a very powerful land in older formats like Modern and Legacy. We don't often see Surveillance that much nowadays in Standard.
Yeah, that's true, but they are pretty good in this reanimated deck. Also, just turning on your Verges for this 3-color deck, very important. As we now see the impending doom of the Overlord of the...
Valimerk.
Yes, that's true. Mill 4 cards and then gets to return one of these formidable speakers.
Definitely not returning Terror of the Peaks.
Yeah, can't actually cast the Terror of the Peaks unless you draw like 2 caverns.
Yeah, so very good start there. Filling your graveyard, and then he's gonna be able to go formidable speaker, discard the. I believe he has an 8-drop in hand, so discard an 8-drop, go get the Spider-Man. That's kind of the dream start.
That's the combo, yeah. That is why Formidable Speaker is so good in this deck. As now we see Stanley get on board, missed on having a 1-drop, which could prove to be crucial for this matchup, where speed is the name of the game for Stanley, unless he has to try and win through the Bringer, which seems not so easy to do. Hardened Academic swoops in for 2 hasty damage, and back to Maxim.
Yeah, what's the top card in the hand of Maxim? Do you think it's the Bringer of the...
The last gift?
Yeah.
Maybe
it's Bitter Triumph.
No, is there even Bitter Triumph in this deck?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it maybe could be that. We'll see in a moment what gets discarded to this Formidable Speaker, as Maxim thinks carefully about something. So,
of course, like, Bringer of the Last Hope is the card that you want to reanimate, because that's the card that's going to bring you back the whole graveyard and dealing a lot of damage with the Terror of the Peaks.
Let's see here. Discard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's clearly not a
No,
Bringer
it's not that. It's probably the promo Bitter Triumph.
But I think actually he does have a Spider-Man in hand. So you can discard the Wistfulness and go get another Spider-Man, potentially, or even get the Bringer, and then now you can use your Spider-Man to copy the Wistfulness just to draw 2 and discard 1 to get the Bringer in the graveyard.
Okay.
But you still need a second Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly, and then you need another Spider-Man.
Or you could use the Bitter Triumph to discard it, of course, and then reanimate it with the...
Makes sense. Or you can go Spider-Man, copy Formidable Speaker, discard Bringer, and go get another Spider-Man.
So for that, you need your speaker to be in the graveyard, but that's true. Or there is one in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point. Something that Maxim can also do next turn.
Lots of options, of course, with these toolbox decks.
Yeah, it's very nice to see that Maxim knows exactly what's up and does discard the Wistfulness here just to have something big to reanimate. And maybe we'll even be able to just kill Stanley outright with that Bringer when it comes back.
Yeah,
with all the terrorist triggers.
Yeah, these 1-2 don't seem too good at the moment.
Oh, but discarding the Bloodghast and then playing a starting town here, bringing back the Bloodghast and triggering both of the Hardened Academics. So now there's a counter on each of these birds.
Whenever 1 or more creatures leave your graveyard, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Let's see which creature is Stanley gonna target.
Okay, yeah, just target one of each. Yeah, that makes sense. So now it's 6 damage moving in through. And next turn, I think Stanley might have lethal with that Cool But Rude. Because he can play it and level it up, and then, you know, attack for 6 more damage, and then discard, you know, his hand, and there's another trigger when he attacks. So he only needs... Yeah, he actually like doesn't need to do that much more damage to win the game from here. So Maxim, if he goes for the Spider-Man play, will just lose. But he's at 8 lives, so he probably knows that he's not safe at all, and will need to keep up interaction.
All right, let's talk about Cool But Rude. That's a card that, you know, when it came out, is, you know, very cool. This card, have you tested this card in Standard for the Pro Tour? Is it like strong enough that can actually like push an archetype like this one from to be, you know, it wasn't really a thing to be like one of the best decks in Standard.
Yeah, we tried actually a bit of this Mario discard deck, but like very little. Maybe didn't give it its proper run for its money. So I would say that's certainly a card that I don't fully understand the potential of yet. As we now see the Cool But Rude land, Maxim doesn't necessarily need to respond now, but if Stanley levels up, you have to see if you can remove both of these academics in response so that Stanley can't just dump his hand and do 6 direct damage to you.
Yes, Maxim took the line of Bitter Triumphing the, you know, a target in order to survive and reanimate the... Oh, so
another line here, you could just bounce the Cool But Rude and complete a Time Walk Stanley.
Oh my god, so it gives a fish to his opponent.
Yeah.
But the fish is not doing that much.
The tech for this Sultai Reanimator deck, normally we do not see into the Floodmaw in these decks, but here Maxim's showing us the power of that card. As now, the creatures come swooping in. It kind of makes sense to attack with a Bloodgast because, if it dies, you can play a land and trigger your Hardened Academics once again.
Yeah, next turn.
Next turn, exactly.
And the Bloodgast has haste.
Yeah, because the opponent's at 8, true. Yeah, so might as well get in there with that one. And Maxim chooses to block the Bloodgast and is going to fire off that Bitter Triumph now, discarding the Bringer of the Last Gift as planned.
Yeah, so...
But
I'd say, is this lethal, you think?
It is not... well, so he definitely is not going to be able to do lethal damage here. Like, the Bringer itself is a 6/6, or 5/5, maybe, I think.
6/6.
It's 6/6. Yeah, the Wistfulness is a 6/6. So like he's got to do like 14 damage with the Formidable Speaker in the graveyard as well. He's not gonna attack for lethal right now. And the Hardened Academic that got killed here is actually also going to come back. But you can kill it with the Terra trigger.
Okay.
So that's actually why it matters so much, because if the Academic was left in play, Maxim would have a problem because the Cool But Rude could just come down next turn and burn him out. So it's actually really, really important that there's a Terror of the Peaks in this graveyard just to act as a removal spell.
Yeah, we see also a new card here. I mean, I know it's a marginal thing compared to what's happening. The Dreamroot Cascade, which makes the mana base just one more dual lens for the mana base with the newest set. Okay, so Spider-Man is copying Bringer of the Last Gift, which is a throwback to the card Living Death. So the battlefield goes to the graveyard, and the graveyard goes to the battlefield.
Exactly. But the Hardened Academic does not trigger from this interaction.
What does the card Terror of the Peak say?
So that's whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peak deals damage equal to that card's power to any target.
Okay, whenever another creature. That means that we're going to trigger. What are we going to trigger? Only Wistfulness and...
Bringer and Formidable Speaker.
Are you sure the Bringer also triggers? I don't think so.
Yes, it does.
Because the Bringer is Spider-Man.
No. There's both a Spider-Man that copies Bringer and the actual Bringer in play. Both are in play. So the way the combo works is that the Spider-Man only exiles the Bringer as part of a triggered ability. So you just like stack the abilities to return the graveyard first, and then Spider-Man tries to exile the Bringer from the graveyard, but it's no longer in the graveyard. So that's why the combo is so good, because even by itself, you produce 10 power of flying in the air and sweep the opponent's board without having anything else in your graveyard.
Of course. So now Maxim is choosing where to point those damage at. He has a lot of damage to point. It's not lethal, so might as well kill the creatures, right?
Yes, exactly. And it's really, really important that you do kill this Hardened Academic, because the Cool But Rude, Standing can play it and level it up, and he will have 3 cards in hand to discard to do, to do 6 direct damage, but he will have no way to discard those cards.
So right now, the players call the judge. What do you think is the question? I
think it may be about whether the Hardened Academic triggers from the Bloodcast and the Academic leaving the graveyard themselves.
What do you think is the answer?
It would not, because this is a trigger that only triggers when the card is on the battlefield. So it's very different from replacement effects that happen. Like, for instance, if you were to bring... so an example of a replacement effect is a Spider-Man that enters the battlefield, because it changes how it enters, because it enters copying something.
Okay.
That effect you apply while it's still in the graveyard, and it gets to see the cards that are in the graveyard. The Hardened Academic, if there was one in play, it would that didn't get swept up somehow. That would also be able to trigger.
Yeah, this wouldn't matter so much, right? Because this is just a +1/+1 counter on the Hardened Academic, which is gonna take 2 damage anyway from the Formidable Speaker.
Yeah, it truly does not matter. Yeah. Well, unless unless it gets triggers twice, because the Bloodcast and the Academic, it would. If it worked this way, there would be 2 triggers. So it makes sense that there's a bit of a hold-up here for this reason, because it actually matters a lot now that Maxim has declared 2 damage to the Hardened Academic and 10 damage to the opponent.
I see. So first 12. You have to decide the damage, and then you have the triggers. Plus it's active player, non-active player. So the opponent's trigger resolve first.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
It's literally game deciding if the situation works out in Stanley's favor. Because then the Academic is going to be able to survive, and then, as I mentioned, Cool But Rude is going to be lethal.
Interesting card, interesting interaction. And again, Cool But Rude is, you know, the newest, not the newest because it's from 2 sets ago, but, you know, Standard is now so big that, like, even a previous set is still, I feels like, not practiced enough, right?
Yes,
it's
exactly.
Just, like, the format is so deep that, yeah, so the card is now removed, the flyer, the
yeah, and I see no counters on anything. And
well, the card is just not in, like, the judges are holding the card.
Oh, right, of course. Just as the one we see in Graveyard is the one that died. So yeah, they're just. It's also possible that depending on the order of operations. Oh, wait.
They're back.
Actually, what does Springer say? Does it say exile the creatures in the graveyard? Because that would actually, the Hardened Academic that was in play would actually see that. The one that was in play right before the effect happened.
Switch.
Yeah. So, and that one would trigger.
Okay, anyway, we have judges, of course. They're doing their job, and we're going to be able to give you, you know, the proper ruling as soon as possible. This is a competitive event, so we have a lot of highly leveled judges on the floor. Yeah, as soon as the situation is resolved, we're going to go back to the players. So far, Simon is doing his research because he's a researcher.
Yes, so if the Bring of the Last Gift was worded like Living Death, it would actually have triggered.
But it's not.
But in this case, it's if you cast it, each player sacrifices all creatures they control. So that is the first bit. And then it said returns all creature cards that weren't put there this way. So it's a different wording, and that is actually what saves Maxim in this position.
Okay.
The exact wording of the card.
So the Hardened Academic leaves the battlefield, and now there's only a Bloodghast, and some damage went face.
I assume there's 12 damage face, and that Stanley is now at 7 life.
And now we're resolving Wistfulness. No, what are we resolving? Oh, we're resolving the Formidable Speaker.
Yeah, just to get another Spider-Man, just for backups.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, Stanley can like play the Cool But Rude, level it up, attack with Bloodghast, draw this card to deal 2 damage, but is going to struggle to deal the remaining 3.
Yeah, there's no Lightning Bolt.
Oh, and he's so close, like 1 mana short, right? So this Into the Flood Maw was completely backbreaking last turn.
Indeed, why would you say it's 1 mana short?
Because he drew the Iron Shield Elf, so he'll be able to play the Elf and. If you had a play land.
A 6th land, Cool But Rude says whenever you discard a card, you deal 2 damage.
You deal 2 damage, yeah.
So if Cool But Rude was leveled up, Stanley must feel like he had it.
Yeah.
So close to have it.
Very close, yeah.
Very close to have this game locked up, but the powerful combo Reanimator deck was able to snag victory.
And both of the changes in this deck from Maxim, you know, like having the Terror of the Peaks, just like randomly being hit in the graveyard, very important, and drawing 1 of the 2 into the Flood Maws, completely game-changing for this situation.
Yeah, yes indeed, and now the players are going to their sideboard. We see here the main deck of Maxime Desiron, who has won thanks to one of his 2 into the Flood Maw, which are not going to leave the deck. They're going to stay there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and let's maybe take a look at the sideboard to see what are the options of Maxime, who is now, you can see him here, he's now choosing which cards to bring in. Yeah, Simon, which of these cards do you think Maxime should bring in against the Martyr discard deck?
He even has the option to add even more copies into the Flood Maw, so I wonder like how many exactly you want of that effect. It's also a good question of how many Wistfulness you would want, because killing the Cool But Rude can be quite important. You even have the Ghost Vacuum to like deal with the Bloodghast, so that's probably not worth it. But it could matter to like hit a practiced offense. I would expect Maxim to not bolt this in, but honestly, I'm just gonna like look forward to see what Maxim does. I think the whole Sunderflock package is not something that's worth bringing in this like in this position, because the Martyr discard deck just has so many cheap cards, and even the Moon Shadows and Elementals, so you can't even bounce that. So I think that is something I'll predict is not gonna come in. But I could see, you know, a lot of the other options actually be relevant. Maybe even the Awaken the Honored Death, though I expect that one to be too slow.
Yeah, the Into the Flood Maw main deck and sideboard isn't for Cool But Rude, it's for the Earthbending lessons, the Badger Mold Coven,
it's for landfall, yeah.
But, you know, they were pretty nice here. Okay, let's take a look at the sideboard of Stanley. He actually has 4 copies of Leyline of the Void.
This is the one matchup where it matters so much to have the Leyline. We discussed this yesterday and couldn't come up with like a compelling case for actually putting this card in your sideboard because all the blue decks can easily bounce the Leyline. But this is a blue deck that... Oh, actually, I think Maxime is going to bring it into the Floodmost just to bounce the Leyline.
Of course, the players are playing open deck list.
Yes.
So
on day 2 here.
Maxime on day 2. So Maxime was able to see the 4 Leyline, so he can actually up the number of into the Floodmost to bring in. And here it is, once again, the Mardu discard deck. Of course, if you're bringing in Leyline of the Void, you make your deck a little bit less consistent, but also Leyline is a card that you can discard to your plenty of like discard effect. So, you know, it balances out a bit.
Yeah, a card I just noticed now is not in this deck that has seen some hype around this shell is Casey Jones. The 3-mana 4/3 that says, you know, when it enters, you draw 3 cards, and then next upkeep, you have to discard 3 cards at random. That's a great enabler for Cool but Rude, and also the Mayhem cost of Carnage that can then reanimate the Casey Jones. But we don't see that interaction at all, even though we still see Carnage in this deck, just as a one-off.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really play too many 3-drops, right? Like, it's funny to say, but like a 3-drop...
Well, it would have to replace the Terza, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe Terza is just more consistent instead of like having a random effect.
Yeah, it does like discard the cards immediately, but it also requires you to have the cards right now if you want to get the discard triggers. And then, as you say, it's not at random. And also hasty. Actually, I like the one Carnage in the deck. I just realized because when you have no cards in hand... Oh, well, that makes the point I'm going to make less relevant. But when you have no cards in hand, you have level 3 of Cool but Rude. You can level it up, search for the Carnage, discard it, and then you get to play it and get something else back. Now we see here Mako into Cool but Rude, but the Mako is immediately met by this Requiting Hex. So, you know, the offense for Stanley has been stopped. And there's actually the Ghost Vacuum. So we did see Maxime bring in this card.
Ghost Vacuum was super good against Bloodghast, but not too many other interaction.
It also like just means that when Maxime does his combo, like it's not going to reanimate all the creatures he's killed previously. As now we see the Moon Shadow come in, and I wonder if we're just gonna level up that Cool but Rude. Yeah, just spending his mana efficiently here is standing. We talked about this yesterday, how when your deck is full of 2-drops and 1-drops, it's really nice if you can make sure to save your 1-drops for like turn 1 and turn 3. Like any odd turn you play is when you want to play your 1-drop cards.
Yeah, so Stanley has the card Carnage in the hand, which of course is a little bit worse with that.
Yeah, the Ghost Vacuum completely shuts off the Carnage. Even you can't even do the Mayhem thing. If it's discarded as a result of like an ability, Maxime would be able to respond to the ability by exiling the Carnage.
Well, there's also an additional ability of Ghost Vacuum, like. I mean, you can just put under it a lot of bombs from your own graveyard and then pay 6 and bring them all back.
That's very true, though a lot of your cards actually don't trigger when...
well, the Overlord, for example,
Overlord would do, yeah. We saw here Town Greeter whiff on a land, and that is actually huge here, because I believe this is turn 4, right, for Maxime?
No, it's turn 3. But speaking of turn 4...
He doesn't have a land in hand.
Stanley can go land, untap, take 2 damage, Leyline of the Void, which... You know, it's not Rest in Peace, so those cards in the graveyard will remain there, but that means that the next cards that will go to the graveyard will be exiled.
I would actually anticipate that Stanley attacks with the Moon Shadow and discards that Leyline instead. We could also level up here and go and search. So now he gets to gamble. He gets to search for a card, and then... Oh, unless there's the Into the Floodmost once again blowing out the Cool but Rude. He has a big punish for not going to combat first here for Stanley.
But, well, he probably had an idea of putting something that would either be an hasty card, like an Ardent Archaic, or something else.
Yeah, it is true. Like it was probably the reason that he played it in this way.
Okay, so Leyline of the Void... He chose to discard it, so it seems like it's in play right now, but it's actually in the graveyard.
That's true. That's a good point, yeah. And now it's under the Ghost Vacuum, so it's not tapped in play.
All right.
And the Moon Shadow here, worth noting, the 5 counters there is minus counters. Whenever a permanent enters the graveyard, it removes the minus counter. So it starts at 7, which means it's a 2/2 now. It's going to grow further. As we now see Maxime here, did he hit the 4th land? Seems like...
He did, and it's a Watery Grave, so you can actually go untap land Spider-Man on the Overlord, but it seems like he doesn't want to.
Yeah, maybe that's not a good enough play. And then, like, what's the other card in his hand? Is that another...
Seems like a bit of Triumph.
Interesting. Yeah, so you may actually just want to run out that Spider-Man on Overlord.
Yeah.
It's not like the most impressive play.
I mean, it's not bad. It's kind of a scrappy game, right?
Yeah,
like
makes sense.
Like both players just
good enough.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good play.
It also there's just not that many removal spells in Stanley's deck, so you will get to like attack with this thing, and you can get a Deceit here, which is a piece of interaction.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you wish to copy Deceit with Spider-Man. That was a dream.
Oh.
But it looks like Maxime is going for the Formidable Speaker. Is going to be able to Formidable Speaker for a Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man for Deceit.
Did he hit a Bringer? Is that the...
I don't think so. No.
The...
Peter Triumph is the weird card in the graveyard.
No, there's another weird card in the graveyard under the Deceit.
It's a Verge, a green-black Verge.
Oh, okay. Wait. Okay.
Yeah, there's like a mismatch.
So there's mismatching green-black Verges. Yeah. I see.
All right, so
Maxime making our job so hard.
It's fine. I'm used to.
Yeah, you're an expert.
I'm used to mismatch. All right, so we have drawn Terza, the Lightbringer. What's the name of that card again?
Oh, that's a pretty nice card here. You can... Wait, hold on.
Shatter doesn't bring the light, it shatters the light.
So actually, sadly, Stanley has a tap land, so it doesn't quite work out. But he could play the Terza here, and if he draws an untapped Black Souls, he'll actually be able to play the Carnage through the Ghost Vacuum. Because the Terza trigger is like...
oh, wow,
it's a triggered ability that, like, yeah, there's no priority pass in between. Like, you resolve the trigger, discard the Carnage, you draw, then you play your land, there's still no priority pass, and then you can play the Carnage for 2.
Instead, Stanley chooses to level up the
Coolbud attack with just a fish. That's fine. He's sacrificing the fish to load up that Moon Shadow, which should have a counter removed, but we'll see if Stanley catches this in time.
Yep, and then he can go for the Elf in second main.
Oh, which he drew. That's a very nice draw, yeah. So with Coolbud Root at 2 counters, it makes a lot of sense that you would prioritize getting this Coolbud Root leveled up before you play your before you play your Terza. As now, you know, any card you discard to Terza will will be extra damage. And yeah, we see here Stanley pointing out, oh, I forgot to remove the counter. And as per the rules, this is, you know, a mistrigger situation. Things have happened in between. They may just call over a judge just to confirm, but it is in Maxime's right to deny that counter being put on.
So yes, indeed, and Iron Shield Elf, that's a card that the blue-red decks kind of struggle against because Indestructible is pretty powerful effect.
Yeah.
What is the matchup against Landfall instead? Like, how is Stanley able to go 9-0 in this tournament where, well, Landfall was a pretty big player?
I think a big deal of this is that Landfall doesn't play much interaction, so it probably hinges a lot on the 1-drops, but Stanley doesn't need to do that much damage before the Coolbud Root just burns them out. And there's so little the Landfall deck can actually do to interact with that. So I think it's a lot about speed for this Maru discard deck. It can win the game on turn 4.
Yeah. Okay, the Judge Call has been resolved. The Moon Shadow did not get a counter removed because, of course, the window was passed and we're playing competitive Magic. So the opponent gets to choose whether to put a trigger on the stack or not. And Maxime chose not to. And now he gets to untap. His hand is Bearded Triumph, Formidable Speaker, Mystery card.
Interesting.
And then the Spider-Man attacks.
Yeah, so we get to use the Overlord effect again here, and that is a huge hit. I think Maxime would have been in a lot of trouble if that Coolbud Root got to stay in play.
Yeah, instead he finds the Wistfulness. Now, the next question is, does Maxime have a 5th land, or does he have to evoke it?
He probably just has to evoke it, tapping the 2 green-black lands, I think, and then leave himself with the Bit of Triumph and the Speaker.
Let's see now. Stanley can double block, discard a card to the Iron Elf, and then just trade with the Overlord.
Let's trade the Moon Shadow for this. I think if you expect that Wishfulness to just be played as is, that's probably not a trade you're interested in, because you could level up this Moon Shadow to a lot and like potentially kill Maxime that way. with just like a lot of damage from the Moon Shadow. You have the Tursa as well. Like you could potentially like represent close to lethal next turn. Not actual lethal because of that miss trigger specifically changing the that math. Of course, Stanley doesn't know that there's a bit of Triumph in Maxim's hand, which would be able to take out the Moon Shadow. But Stanley may have to play, hoping that Maxim's hand is just very clunky. Knows about the Formidable Speaker, of course.
Yeah, and
there's even a Hex in
a
hand.
land was not drawn, so he has to go Disenchant now for 2 mana.
Yeah, I wonder if he's even going to like use the Recruiting Hex in response to the Evoke, just to gain the 2 life for no cost. Oh, nice play here from Stanley. Discarding the Crimson right now just to deal 2 extra damage and get a counter on that Moon, remove a counter from that Moon Shadow.
He could also... Would he have a window next turn to discard the Crimson and bring it back before the Ghost Vacuum could exile it?
Well, not with the Iron Shield Elf. It would have to be the Tursa play. Because if you do it with Iron Shield Elf, there's an ability on the stack, and the Ghost Vacuum can respond to that.
Actually, there is an ability on the stack by Moon Shadows anyway. So you can't either in the other way.
That's true.
Wow, funny.
That's true, yeah. Sometimes the triggered abilities gets in your way.
Yeah.
Or priority pass.
Even last turn.
Yeah, you actually
wouldn't
couldn't
have
do
been
it.
able to.
Yeah. Good catch.
Now
we do see this play. As we now see the blight of the Recruiting Hex, gaining 2 life back to Maxime, being very conscious of his life total as he should be in this situation, kind of dire spot against Stanley Franks.
Yep.
Stanley now only has a Tursa here. Does get to draw 2 cards, which is not nothing. Can even play a Mako first.
Are you sure is that how Tursa works? Because I believe you have to discard cards in order to draw. It's not like Season Pyromancer.
Oh, I may be wrong, yeah.
Yeah. Season Pyromancer would let you do that, but I think Tursa is not worded in this.
Okay, in that case, I think you should definitely just play the the other card, the Casey Jones.
Oh, so you think Casey Jones is just better than Tursa?
I think so, but it's harder to cast, so maybe you can't actually do it in this deck because of red.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good reason not to play it, honestly.
Okay, so Tursa gets in, and damage is resolved, and Maxime gets to exile a card end of turn. And is there a world where he considers putting stuff from his graveyard under this Ghost Vacuum?
It's, I mean, potentially, in a little while, but with the Overlord attacking every turn, like, he kind of doesn't need to, because he can regrow that Wistfulness once again. It's also worth noting, actually, that last turn, Stanley chose to discard that Carnage just to deal 2 damage, valuing the 2 damage over the card from Tursa.
Yeah, and now, once again, Overlord mills 4. You don't have to return one of the creature from among these. You can return any creature that isn't an avatar.
That's exactly.
Or a Planeswalker.
You can even return a Planeswalker, yeah. Could just grab the Deceit here and use the discard mode if he so chooses. Can also just like get the Wistfulness and just play it here if there's an untapped land. Yeah,
a very important effect here would be to gain life, but there's no Vibrance in this Soother Reanimator deck among the Elemental.
You see another Dream Roots Cascade in hand here for Maxime. That's such a nice pickup for from the new set, as you kind of want your black lands to come down early for Recruiting Hex, and then your green and blue lands, you can have them come later. I guess this is a green-black actually, right?
No, there was no lands. What's happening?
Well, he played a land in the middle of combat.
Oh.
So the damage hasn't resolved yet from Spider-Man. And Stanley still has the opportunity to like block and discard if he wanted to save 4 life.
Okay, there's not much reason to call a judge, I think. So yes, the damage is resolved, and we got a second main. A land's played, and now you probably keep on holding up that Bitter Triumph. Casting Formidable Speaker, I'm assuming discarding Wastefulness. It's funny, that was a card that you meticulously chose from the Overlord.
True. But just needed it to be any creature. And this way he does get to keep a Bitter Triumph in case something goes wrong. Like, let's say the practiced offense could, do a lot of output here, but there is no evasion. Shoot Your Sheriff being picked up, that can take care of the, Spider-Man Superior Overlord, I guess, is how that would work. but the Spider-Man in hand is now quite threatening with that bringer in the graveyard, and Stanley doesn't have any moves against that, wishing that he was the one with Ghost Vacuum in play.
Yeah, Bringer of the Last Gift is coming back next turn. The Holger is coming back next turn. This game seems to have a writing on the wall. But I wanted to shout out Formidable Speaker. This is a card that Jean-Emmanuel Deprat helped design back in 2023, 2024, after he won the World's Championship in Las Vegas. And this card is super sweet because it's obviously a throwback to Survival of the Fittest, one of the best cards of all time. But notably, it doesn't discard a creature. You can discard any card, giving you a lot of selection from a Formidable Speaker. You can discard a land and get a creature. And then you have the very nice untap target permanent clause, which it's maybe not that relevant here. Well, you can use Ghost Vacuum 2 times, but normally you can, in an older format, untap something like a land that produces 2 mana, or, you know, just like several effects. In Modern, for example, you can untap the Agatha Soul Cauldron, giving you the ability to, all right, we see the hand. I was just talking because I know this game would have been over, but the players decided.
Such a good job of it.
Yeah.
I feel like normally it's me doing that. You completely took over. I was mesmerized by the hot dog drop commercial I saw playing on the Twitch stream.
What did you say?
Hot dog drop.
Oh.
Which,
yeah.
Whatever. Some weird
I
game.
guess I was saying boring things if you know you were looking at the commercials.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't listening.
Like,
I was talking to the producer.
Preferring commercials to whatever I was saying. That's like a very low, Simon. I didn't expect
yesterday you asked me a question. I looked over at you and you were like, while I was replying to it.
I hope I entertained the viewers at home, though. I hope you guys enjoyed the story of Formidable Speaker and
right,
how
that's what
great
you were
it
saying.
is. Yes. Yes, there's so many synergies with that card. Very, very fun card. In Modern, it's really finding place in Eldrazi Ramp, in Yawgmoth, in Elves. A very, very cool card. And in Standard, again, you just use it as in this deck. Well, actually, you played it at the Pro Tour not that long ago.
Yeah, I did. I played it in the Cub deck.
How did it go?
I went 11-5, 20th place.
Woo! Okay. All right, so we have some more magic, of course, but we're going to skip around. We're going to go to round 11.
Yes. Time travel. Zoop. Now we're almost in present.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to round 11. Of course, we are working a little bit on delay here at Day 2 of Spotlight Series London. We went live a little bit later to be able to have less downtime, because that's what we love to do here at Fanfinity. We want you to be on constant content. Never skip content. That's a YouTube grind. Me and Simon are YouTube, you know, expert, and we know that you have to be, or Twitch, of course.
Always on.
And
always
you have to
online.
be always on. You can't take a break. I can't drink. I can't drink anymore. They told me if you want to go on coverage, you can't drink, Mengu. You have to be live all the time.
Yes, exactly. No, no pause for anything. So we had to. I drank 2 liters of water before going on here, and now they also told me I can't visit the toilet. So I'm in trouble regardless.
Until tonight.
Yes.
All right. So let's watch some magic. Let's watch some magic. Let's see. What are we gonna watch, Simon? Do you know?
Yes. So we're going to watch a very nice Twitch streamer here. This is going to be Canister on the board. Yeah.
Whoa.
So Canister playing here, playing Is It Lessons. I believe we haven't featured him yet, but he was 7-2 yesterday and won the first round today. So now here in round 11, he's paired against someone we had in feature match a couple times yesterday. Yeah. Someone with a very nice shirt that I'm very envious of, and that is Yana Toy.
Oh, so we have Is It Opus versus Is It Lessons.
Exactly.
Lots of Steam events, but lots of different decks.
Yeah, no, the Is It Opus deck is the deck based around Callstorm Stallion and the Maestro, Molten Core Maestro, that gives you back mana when you play an expensive spell. And all his expensive spells produces treasures or gives mana already, so he can kind of chain them together and keep making copies of the horses until the opponent is very, very dead.
Actually, yesterday we watched Jan playing against Jendrik, which is like one of the best friends of Canister.
Oh, true.
So he's taking a revenge here, same matchup as well.
Yeah, true. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. Okay, you see, a team handshake, that means it's your teammate.
It is, yeah, and that jacket, you know, is some one that I gave to him, you know, actually yesterday. I brought it for him from
All right.
From the USA.
Simon, tell me about this list and why does it play 8... No, never mind. Tell me about this list without acknowledging the 8 copies of combustion technique.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah. Yeah. So that's probably a different card that is that is in that place. But basically, this is just like a run-of-the-mill Lessons deck. So it's just playing all the good cards, like the talents, the monuments, playing the 4 or actually only 3 copies of Storm Chaser's talent alongside the Boomerang basics for that synergy. And otherwise, like not doing too much else fancy. Just playing 4 copies of all the good lessons and supplying a bit with the Idle Quenchers and Iris Demonstration. This is actually built in collaboration with Daniel Getchell, who went 8-2 with Lessons at the last Pro Tour. And someone who's been playing Lessons for quite a while. Not many people turned up to the Pro Tour playing Monument Lessons. And, once again, as always, it's just a good pick, and there's no reason to not play this deck. The people here in London have figured this out. This deck was fairly popular. It had a 54% win rate yesterday, so doing quite well. And Canister is someone with experience with this deck and rocking up to this tournament with it, doing well.
And of course, he's also experienced with playing at the feature match without too much pressure because he's been used to it. He's of course a Pro Tour champion, a finalist of the biggest ever arena event.
Yes.
And on the other side, we have Jan-Alexander Schunyard, which is playing the deck that we mentioned briefly before, Izzet Opus. Does Izzet Opus means that he plays the card Magma Opus?
No, it does not. But the Opus mechanic may be, named somewhat like after the Magma Opus, of course, just for the, artistic expression of the Prismari College. So we see here this deck, playing a lot of Strixhaven cards, actually. Not only the Maestro and the Stallion, as I mentioned, but also running Sanar and the Tablet of Discovery as 2 mana engines that also give you back some cards. The 5 mana, the wild idea, like the prepared spell from Sanar, actually really important in this deck as a way to trigger Opus and can go and get that capstone, the one-off, to spend all your red mana from Maestro playing. You also see 3 copies of Rapturous Moment in this deck. 6 mana to draw 3, discard 2. It's not very good, but he gives you back 5. So it's essentially a 1 mana spell that triggers Opus.
Yeah, and the mana base also has a new card. There are 4 copies of Stormcarved Coast, which is a card that you don't see in Izzet Prowess at all. I don't know if Lessons plays it at all, but there are 4 copies in Jan-Alexander Schunyard deck. So the players are here 8-2, so still a very good score that is able to make day 2. Sorry, make top 8, I meant to say, of course.
Yeah, exactly. We're already in day 2, yeah. We didn't try and travel that much. As you now see the Archer Stallion come down on turn 2, followed by Sanar. So these players are, playing their power cards nice and early.
Sanar, Unfinished Genius. For 5 mana, you can go get an instant sorcery, but that ability will be kind of like we're going to use that late game.
That's way later, yeah.
For now, we're just using the treasure ability.
Yes, and it being 4 toughness is really important in these Izzet Mirrors. It's quite hard to deal with a 4 toughness creature this early in the game, as Canister discards the combustion technique, which I guess technically could have done it with the Archer Stallion triggers. Passes right back. I wonder if this is a quench moment trying to hit that horse, because it's not, it's an unconventional play to use your Boomerang basics just to bounce a 2-drop. But the way this Lessons deck works is that you just want to propel the Lessons in the graveyard, get to 3, and get your deck online.
Exactly, so it's card disadvantage at this time, but then whenever he's casting an Accumulate Wisdom and draw 3 cards, he's going to gain back all the advantage. Now Ian has a couple of options. I see a stock up, but first is casting Sanar. Does that resolve?
So you see, by the way, the Sanar being played here halfway out the sleeve. This is to mark that it is prepared. So, once he plays the 5 mana spell, he's going to put it fully back in the sleeve again.
Yeah, and Jan decides to take 2 damage, holding up that Burst Lightning instead of, I don't know, other options. You could have played that land tapped, but instead holds up Burst Lightning. Why do you think he wants to hold up Burst Lightning, Simon?
So this would be to deal with a grandma if it comes down. And taking 2 damage, honestly, just doesn't matter that much. Does he even have... he has Burst Lightning in hand.
Yeah. So you see Piotr going for the Combustion Technique, such a powerful ability that actually exiles the card in the graveyard. Not that it matters too much, but...
Oh, yeah, true. It's true the Sanar should be exiled.
And now Piotr has... lots of options, lots of cards in hand.
I want to actually note, when he played the combustion technique, he did not use the Archer's Talent ability. He thought his hand was so strong.
Wow, that's true.
That he didn't want to discard anything. A very common play you see of good Lessons players is that they will recognize that when it's actually not correct to loot something away because you already got what you need. And this is exactly what he needs. The monument of endurance. And I actually think a big reason that Jan shocked himself there, you know, this is open deck list. And he does have, I guess he actually has no spell piercers in the main deck. So it is not for bluffing purposes.
Okay, so a second Sanar comes in. That's really the engine of this deck.
It truly is the mana engine.
Ooh, we're gonna use Prismari Command just to bounce the monument. That's a very strange. Like, bounce spells are not too good to be used in this way.
Well, it is true that, like, you know, like, Canister could just redeploy that monument, but it does mean that, like, he will have to take most of his turn redeploying that and doesn't get to trigger it very much. Although here now comes the Grand. Canister was holding it last turn because of that burst lightning that was up, and gets to deploy it right now and get more of the of the discount here. Doesn't even play the monument before the accumulated wisdom. I wonder what his idea is here. Maybe he just wants to spend his mana interacting with that Snar, not letting Jan untap with that mana engine.
Yeah, because monument would cost 2 mana.
Yeah, so he could have easily just played that and played the accumulated wisdom, but he has other plans for his turn.
Yeah, and maybe like Jan shocking himself with the Steam Vents last turn made Piotr think, oh, he can only have Burst Lightning. That's the only card he can have.
Yeah.
So Jan, having the Mountain in hand, he could have just played Mountain instead. But like shocking, maybe bluffing a Spell Pierce was like actually costly to him.
Yeah, and he can't even bluff Spell Pierce because it's open deck list and he has none in the main deck. As now we see the Monument come into play, and a second accumulated wisdom being acquired here from Canister can trigger the Archer's Talent, discard draw, that triggers the Monument, can draw another card, or potentially even better in this spot, make a treasure.
I feel like the Lessons deck here is showing why is it so powerful.
Yeah, it's
like the engine is so good. Not just the engine, everything is so good. You have the payoff, you have the engine, you have the enabler. Everything involving this game, you know, was just perfect.
Yeah, so Canister did choose to make a treasure and does, of course, have his own tokens with him. I don't know.
The declines the tokens.
The feature match token.
Yeah, it is, you know, WotC makes all these beautiful tokens. They all are beautiful artists. You know, let's use them, right?
Yes, exactly. Might as well.
Might as well. So we have Combustion Technique here.
Wow.
Killing the Sanar. So the Jan was just never able to be in the game, honestly.
Yeah, the third Combustion Technique there is so good, and then gets to trigger the Monument to draw a card. So this turn here, Canister, you know, like he spent 6 mana on this turn to to draw, like, he drew 7 extra cards. Right? He drew 7 cards and also looted away a few things. I mean, and developed the Grand and the Monument into play.
Yeah, I mean, he cast 3 2-drops, 3 drops. Like,
yeah, completely insane. Like the value of Grand. This is, you see why it actually can pay off to keep up that Burst Lightning. So you prevent the Grand from reducing multiple things during the turn. And you know why in this situation where Jan had to tap out for that Prismari Charm, there was an opening for Canister to go completely over the Grand. And yeah, now gets to untap here. Does need to answer this Colostorm Stallion and only has 1 Combustion Technique left in his deck. So that may be a blind angle here. But of course, with Jan being at 18 life, it also might not take long before Canister can actually burn him out if he has a second Monument.
And the third one. That is obviously the kill, is you play 3 spells in your turn, 3 spells in your opponent's turn, and you win the game. But
you don't even need to play 3 spells. You can, the first one just kills them. With 3 monuments to play.
Yeah, 3 monuments. Yeah, exactly.
I know you would always, regardless of their life total, choose to draw and make treasure first because of value. But
oh, you're right. So we're tapping 2 mana to play Artist Talent, which sounds like so much mana to play a 2-drop.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could have actually leveled up the talent first before doing this, but that is a bit of a mana investment that he may not be ready to make, especially when he also wants to play the ward on that Colostorm Stallion. So this Archer's Talent here is just essentially just a 2 mana, like, you know, tormenting voice, essentially. But just digging through his deck, trying to find an answer for the Stallion, but it seems like Canister's just digging and doesn't actually have the tools right now, you know, after drawing so many cards last turn, but there aren't that many answers to the horse in this deck, and by prioritizing killing Sanar so much, may have left himself with a blind spot here to this horse, now dealing 3 damage with that monument. So,
well, you have the Stormchaser talent that you can use to return a card, but obviously you don't have enough mana.
yeah, you don't have enough mana to do that anymore, so that doesn't really work out as he would have. If he had the talent and the 6th land already in hand at the start, he could have actually just done it all with the treasure ability of Monument. No, he still could have paid for the ward. So, but Jan does not have the 5th land to play an expensive spell and copy the horse right away. That was the most scary thing, because then you have 2 horses you need to deal with.
Oh,
instead, the stock up is getting countered by Quench.
It's a beautiful art.
Or actually, it's a Abandoned Attachment, but I believe there's also a Quench in hand. Beautiful artwork of stock up?
No, beautiful altar.
Oh. Oh, yeah,
that.
true. Yeah, the drawing, yeah, it's so nice.
I wonder who made it.
I think it's the table spotter.
You think so?
Or maybe this was Canister's own token.
I think so.
Oh, maybe Canister himself.
Yeah, maybe. Simon, you're not the only one who draws your own tokens.
No, it's true. It's true.
All right, Abandoned Attachment resolves. Discard that 8th edition island, draws 2 cards.
Deals 3 damage down to 12, noting that life total. I believe that this is the strongest ability of the monument.
You think so?
I think the deal 3 is the